Adrian, I have read some truly startling facts about young men 18 to 25. Things like 13% of them have suicidal thoughts, 11% unemployment rate. And perhaps the most jarring one for me is 40% of 18 to 25-year-old men have never approached a woman.
That is crazy.
4 in 10. So I want to
Wow.
have a talk about this. You're a father of a son, Caden. I want to pretend for a minute he's 18, and just what do we do, right? These are stats that no one should be proud of. It's not that young women don't have problems. Also, this is not to say that one is better or worse than the other. It's just two
Right.
guys talking about Caden in this case. What are some things we could do to help Caden, his friends, and the like? Because you can't have a growing society, a thriving economy if the youth are this seemingly desperate and not in a good headspace. What are you thinking?
No, and I, as I think about it, wild and crazy isn't the right word. Sad is the right word. It's very sad, and uh, it's gut wrenching to hear those numbers, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
can see it unfold. I kind of saw it in high school growing up, and I guess the word of advice, if I was talking to my son, would be to get out of the house, turn off the TV, turn off the video games, and go learn to socialize with everybody in the neighborhood. Like, and if there's not a neighborhood, then see if there's any cousins or friends that we can, get in front of. I think the TV, the phone, the video games is causing this isolation, and these kids have this identity in this video game, and yet they go into the real world and they don't have that identity and they feel lost. And so I think a lot of it has to do with the habits of children. And it's just my personal opinion. I can see it in my son. He wants to sit there and watch Bluey all day long. And I'm like, no, we're going outside, right? And it's interesting because now that I'm starting to push him outside, I get home and it's no longer I want to watch Bluey. It's Dad, let's go outside and play baseball. And
Mm.
and I think a lot of those those interactions play such a big role from when they're young, growing up, and I think just a lot of kids are isolated. That's I
Yeah, I think that's where you got to start. I mean, I think about, again, I'm Gen X, so I'm the last generation that grew up without cell phones, right? We didn't have cell phones. So we were outside. I mean, from the moment the sun was up to the sun was gone, we were outside doing something. Most of the time it was healthy. I'm sure some of the times it was dangerous or bad, I'm sure. But again,
100%.
we were outside, we were socializing. And when I think about, the next, the young generation and whatnot, as hard as it is, dude, I don't know what we got to do. We got to take these phones away,
Yeah,
right? There, it's amazing how many of them have this online persona, but they have nothing outside the house, and
100%.
they're living their life through the phone, and that's not healthy,
No, it's not.
right?
Or the
It-
TV screen. I
yeah.
saw it. We took a vacation, and where we were sitting by the pool was a TV. And he didn't want to go in the pool. He didn't want to go down the slides. He wanted to watch TV. And I pointed out to my wife, I'm like, that's the problem. And it's not just with him, but it's with all the kids we see. The social skills have gone out the window. My wife and I had a long conversation, very interesting. We're talking about this because we talked a lot last night about this whole like homeschool trend thing going on. Like I didn't know anyone being homeschooled growing up.
Mm-mm.
And I understand in California, we have these crazy laws and these crazy demands on what a kid needs to do to go to school. And we're not here to talk about that. But what we are here to talk about is I believe that isolation is causing the social awkwardness, that ability to be able to walk up to a girl and say, hey, my name is blank. What is your name? I'll never forget 4th grade. I remember knocking on a girl's door who I thought was cute. The dad opened the door. I thought he was going to rip my head off. Right.
Yeah.
But I put myself in that. And like, had my mom kept me inside and I played video games, I don't know if I'd have the courage to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing that seems to be going on is masculinity seems to be under attack, right? Boys roughhouse, boys do all this stuff. We're not talking about the toxic masculinity here, but there's nothing wrong with being a boy. I mean, we don't need to turn our boys into girls. I mean, there's this whole, I don't know, seemingly demasculine thing going on. It's like that's not. I mean, telling boys that they're bad because they're boys. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that?
Right. 100. I agree. And I can see it when he's at the park, or you could see the, the glares from, from some of the parents. And I think it really stems with a lot of the parents nowadays. I don't, I tell my wife all the time, put down TikTok, because
Yeah.
I'll hear her listening to TikTok and I'm like, what are you like? uh, Please turn it off, right? And
Right.
and then she's now like, and then I'll hear something on Instagram and she's like, no, you need to turn that off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're on. I think it's the isolation, and again, it's I don't know what's. I mean, I was just reading some stats because I don't know what it is. It came across my IG feed just about young men being in almost desperation, like come help me, right? Somebody throw me a life preserver, because it seems like they're under attack from all angles. They're bad just because they're boys, and it's that's just not okay. There's nothing wrong with being a boy. There's nothing wrong with being a man. There's nothing wrong with strength and desire and all of that. It's just I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and the whole like, I grew up. My dad made me mow the lawn. I had to weed whack. I had to take out the trash. There
Mhm.
were things that I had to do that my dad was doing to shape me to be a man. And maybe you're like, okay, we don't need to mow the lawn to be a man. No, but you learn discipline.
Mhm.
You learn something when that happens. And I don't see any kid doing that nowadays. And to your point, they've undermined it. They now make it seem like, oh, you're torturing your kid. You're turning your kid into a slave. No, we're not. We're teaching our kid the fundamentals of life. Like
Yeah.
there's no, if that was the case, I was the number one slave in my family. They made me do everything.
Yeah.
But I look back and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah. The other thing that I saw years ago, and this was when my daughter was growing up, was what we now call participation trophies.
Mm,
Right? When I was going to school, like the winner won. Right? I
right.
have a trophy for being the most physically fit fifth grader at my school that I had at my house forever. And that was the only trophy, right? That gave it to the top one, and nobody else
Right.
got anything. And then by the time my daughter was doing the same things, everybody got a ribbon. It's like, where's the reward for excellence, and
Exactly.
where's the reward for struggle? The other thing that I don't know why we're doing this, but it seems like we're trying to hide failure.
Hmm.
Right? Failure is such a great learning lesson, and crying when you lose a game or a match or whatever it is, that's okay, right?
Right.
That just means you wanted it,
Exactly.
right? I don't want to be the person that lost 12-1 and you just walk off and have ice cream, right? I want to
Right.
be upset.
100%.
And
And to all of this, I believe for any parents listening, I believe it starts when they're little. It starts, we have to, it's like a dog. I hate to say it that way, but it's like an animal, right? If you train a puppy to bite everybody, all the puppy is going to know is how to bite people,
right.
right? If we teach a kid isolation and we teach a kid not to get his feelings hurt, not to go out there and try, and I take fault for it too, because there's times where he's on his bike and he's going really fast. And in my mind, I'm like, no, he's going to crash. He's really going to hurt himself. And I try to stop it. And then my wife has to remind me, let him crash. Like, let him, right? And then I got to bring myself down. And I'm pretty high up there when it comes to letting my kid do some crazy stuff. So I
Yeah.
I don't want to say I can put myself in other people's shoes, but I can somewhat not fully understand, but get where some of the thoughts come from, where we're just trying to protect them. We're trying to, make sure that they don't get hurt. But in return, we're really hurting them more in the long run. Right.
Yeah.
I kind of want him to get a little bruised up. Let's get some scabs.
Yeah.
Let's know
Scars
that
are sexy, man.
they are, right. Let's know going 10 miles an hour is probably not the smartest thing to be doing on your bike.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of that has to play a big role in what we do at home and the habits and what we expose our children to at a very early age.
Yeah. So if we were going to kind of message stuff or stuff for Caden, again, your son, when he's 18 and his friends, I guess the first one we've come to is we've got to get him off the phones or the TV, right? We got to stop that. The other one is we got to get him in. We got to get him out in the public, right? I don't know if that's sports or jobs or something. We got to get him around other people,
Right.
right? That's where the magic happens,
Agreed.
right? How did I meet? The the ladies in my life, the three real deep relationships I had. One, I got called to play a softball game as somebody didn't show up, so they needed somebody, so I went there. My buddy was dating a girl that, we went on a double date after, right? Next, I met a girl at work, and then at work. And again, you don't do that on the computer screen. You don't even know if they're girls on the computer screen. I could be guys for all we know. What the hell are you doing?
Man in the East Coast,
yeah, Russia or some shit. Yeah, you guys, we got to get our sons out. Got to get them off these screens, right? We need to be uncomfortable. We need to learn. We need to fail. We need to pick ourselves up. We need to know it's okay that we don't die because some girl gave us a fake phone number, right? It happens to all of us. It doesn't matter.
100%. And I would say the third one is, if I'm talking to Caden, and we do it every morning, is talk to yourself positively. Say good stuff to yourself. Even though he fights me on it when I go to school, but I make him say, I am confident. Yeah. We say, I am confident over and over and over again. We say, I am a leader over and over and over again. We say, I am strong over and over and over again, because I want to plant that in his seed that he is confident. And he does have the ability to go up to anybody and talk to them, because that confidence is there, right? And I think a lot of us, we talk to our children in the wrong way, or we say things that we don't really know is registering, and then they repeat it, and it just reprograms that in our head. And so I think a lot of it, if I'm talking to Caden, is program your mind the right way. Say good stuff to yourself. If you do get the wrong phone number, the next one is going to be the right one.
Yeah. She missed out, right? Yeah, exactly. When I think about young men, and just again, I've only been thinking about this for the last couple of days. It's just you've got to get in the real world, right? Online's not real.
No,
it's not real, and you're stunting your growth. You're hiding your joy. The world is full of amazing things and amazing people. If you don't get out from behind your screen, you're going to be a loser, frankly. Right? You're not going to have the skills, the experience. You're not going to be interesting, right? Who's interested in talking to a person who's all they do is play War of Warcraft or whatever the hell the game's called? Right. It's go get some real life experiences. And if you really want to change it up and you're a teenager and you're feeling like you're struggling, move. You want a shock to the system? Move. You're an adult. Move.
Yep.
Right? Go change everything.
Yep.
And it's we got to help that. We got to help that next generation. It's sad. Have
you ever seen the movie Player One?
I've read the book Player One. I have not seen the movie.
Oh, I didn't know there was a book. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's when I watched that movie scared me. Right.
The book scared me. Yes.
You can see these kids living through what this.
Oh, that's the whole intent. Yeah, exactly.
And in the real world, I think there was one where he was like really overweight, sitting on a couch, and he's just, unless they start to change, parents start to change, kids start to change, it's going to go that way. Absolutely. It's going to go where their whole identity is built into a video game. Mm-hmm. And I think it's absolutely terrible. And that's why I love, my buddy owns a jujitsu studio, and they have a whole, his whole thing is catered towards toddlers and kids, right? Nice. Getting kids in there, knowing how to roll, knowing discipline. And I think that I see those kids in there. They're not the same kids that, we see that are behind a screen. That's for sure.
Yeah. And nothing will build confidence like jiu-jitsu, right? Being able to go mano a mano with someone and get taken down or take them down and just learn that. Very powerful. Jiu-jitsu is very powerful that way. All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't know if it was Dana White or Joe Rogan that said the most important thing you can do is put your kid in jiu-jitsu.
Probably both of them. Yeah. Probably both of them. I agree. Certainly put your sons in there. And I would argue daughters. I took my daughter to karate and she got her black belt. Now she does Muay Thai. She's 5-0, I think. She's 5-0.
And for girls to know that is such a superpower. If I ever have a daughter, I for sure want her to know that, right? I know that anybody comes at, good luck, right?
Good luck. She ain't going quietly. She will land a punch or kick or something, or elbow or whatever.
She most definitely will.
Yeah, it's nice to know that your daughter's going to have confidence. But this again is So again, I want to go back to actionable steps. So again, we got to get them off their screens. We got to get them in real life. We got to take away the participation trophies. We got to get the wants, desires. We got to do the self-talk. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I want to say that they really need to get out there and get dirty. Don't,
Yes.
let parents, let them go get dirty. Let them go climb in the mud and
Figure it
let
out.
them, right? I'm talking to myself when I say that. Let them, right? Let them go be kids. We're just, social media has just blinded everything. There's so many opinions. There's so many different, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Look you're here, you survived, and I'm pretty sure you fell a couple of times, got a lot of bruises, got a lot of bumps, got a lot of scabs, and
Ass
you're
kicked
still
all the
alive.
time. I'm still alive. Didn't die.
And kids are actually much more like, what do you call it?
Malleable, right? They're
Yes,
like made of plastic.
think.
Yeah, they're young. They're made of plastic. They heal really easy. Yeah, it's pretty.
100%. And another thing I want to say, and this is really important. I'm gonna talk to all you dads out there. Be present. Go home. Business is not that serious. The gym is not that serious, right? I was just having this conversation yesterday because my buddy's beating himself up because he hasn't been to the gym. And I'm like, well, let me ask you, what have you been doing? In the morning, I cuddle with my little 2 girls. We make breakfast together. I go, dude, stop.
You won.
You won. That's better than any gym workout, right?
You won.
Yes. There's going to be a time when you go to the gym. Right
Yes.
now, that, like, gentlemen, this social media, you need to grind 24/7, stay away from no, that's not it. That's not it. Go home. If it's past 5 o'clock, nothing's going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
Go home.
Go home. Love it. Adrian, you're amazing. Take care. Say hi to the family. Take care.
Appreciate you, Zuber.